So reports have came out that the Washington Commanders are set to be super aggressive this offseason, including interest in guys such as Miles Garrett, Max Crosby, and even Trey Hendrickson. And if you ask me, all three of those guys I would welcome here with open arms. Let's talk about it.
The way that we live is not for everybody. We're going to run and put our bodies on people in a violent manner.
I love the way she move it, shake it on me. When she clap it, the shawty is the winner. You can tell that shawty's on.
You know what time it is. It's time to come out.
I love the way she move it, shake it on me.
Yo, before we get into today's video, I want you guys to do me a favor and subscribe to my fitness channel as I'm documenting my life from going to fat to fit. Link down below in the description.
YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here. We have the Washington Commanders video. And in today's video, I'm coming on here with a video where we're going to be talking about the Washington Commanders set to being super aggressive this offseason, free agency, trades, etc. to push all the chips forward and compete for a Lombardi. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload new videos like this to the channel. We're on the road to 9,000 subscribers, so it'd be greatly appreciated if you can reach that goal as soon as possible. Thank you so much. Let's get straight to it. So first things first, the Washington Commanders have set to become one of the teams to look out for to be super aggressive this offseason. And that shouldn't come to no surprise. Obviously, after the season that the Washington Commanders turned in, then you already know that their plans were to go all in this offseason because we were one step away. That's typically what you do. You can call Washington the 2024 Houston Texans, but I think we're even on a bigger scale than Houston because, you know, all due respect to CJ Stroud, Jay Daniels was just that much better this season. So we're literally one step away, and you seen what that Houston team did last year, going out and getting Daniil Hunter, going out and getting Stephon Diggs, just to name a few guys that made a difference on their team. Although Steph Diggs did get hurt, but you seen the kind of caliber player they were getting prior to the season starting, and that could be Washington on a much broader scale. Not only do we have the quarterback to attract a lot of people here and the winning record from last season, but we have, obviously, as I mentioned multiple times and will continue to mention throughout this whole entire offseason, the third most cap space in the NFL. So there's this report out here. It's on Rigo's Rags. I'm going to read it to you guys. It says, there's an opportunity awaiting for Washington Commanders this offseason. A new report suggests General Manager Adam Peters is not going to waste it. After getting the Commanders to the NFC Championship game in year one, head coach Dan Quinn and new regime are bullish about the future. They also have an urgency to maximize quarterback Jay Daniels' rookie contract before things get much expensive in the coming years. And that is the thing as well. We have a window in which we need to take advantage of, and this is why it was so great to have this big of a season, because in past history, right, a quarterback hasn't been this good. Again, that stands for probably CJ Stroud, maybe Joe Burrow as well. But typically you say, okay, my rookie quarterback figures it out in year 2, year 3, and now our window is open because he figured it out. But you only got 2 years before you have to pay him, or really a year and a half, because some people, depending on how highly you think of your quarterback, you pay him after his third, going into his 4th year. With us, we know after year 1, Jay and Daniels is that. So we have, I would say, roughly maybe 2.5, maybe 3 years, but I would say more so on the 2.5 side, where after his 3rd year, you could see us extending him, because one, he's gonna be that good too, and you don't want him to continue to wait until then the price gets higher. But I like what they said, where they say Dan Quinn and the regime are bullish about the future, and you know that's not no lie, because this is the same coaching staff and regime that told us the day one this is not a rebuild, this is a recalibration. And although a lot of people were laughing or, you know, not taking them serious, saying, yeah, this is a rebuild, I don't know what you're talking about, what happened this year? It wasn't a rebuild, it was literally a recalibration, exactly what they said. So take everything that they say literal, because they're not playing. So when they say that we're bullish about the future and we have an urgency to maximize quarterback Jay Daniels' potential, believe it and expect this team to be in a position to sign, trade, draft all playmakers is going to help Washington moving forward. Then you got the article continued on saying Peters adopted a malicious approach during his first year at the helm. The Commanders made one bold trade to acquire cornerback Marshawn Lattimore before the 2024 deadline, but even that transaction had the future in mind, with Washington further ahead than originally anticipated. Being more aggressive in is crucial. So again, first year, he didn't waste no time. Not only did we not waste no time getting it going and being recalibration, but as we mentioned, Adam Peters wasted no time upgrading this team and waiting for the offseason to say, okay, now we're going to address cornerback. No, he seen we're in a position to win. We're in a position to make the playoffs and make a real run at it. So let me go ahead and get a guy out there that can help us get over this hump potentially. And unlike past, we weren't in a position to win. So to make those kind of trades, or unlike the past, where past coaches will be sitting at 7-5, 7-3, etc., around that kind of range of on the edge of the playoffs, they would sit on their hands. No, Adam Peters didn't. He made a move. So again, that should give you more confidence that Washington is planning to do something big. According to Dan Grazio from ESPN, that's exactly what the Commanders plan to do. Commanders expected to be aggressive throughout Adam Peters' second offseason. The respected insider revealed that talks around the league centers on Washington going all guns blazing into the offseason with defensive improvements at the forefront. Exactly. So Myles Garrett, Maxx, Crosby, Trey Hendrickson, Khalil Mack, maybe even. It also continues to say he also added weight to the claims Peters will make a bold bid to acquire edge rusher Myles Garrett if the Cleveland Browns do decide to offer him off. So going back to that specifically, that's why the title of this video is defensively, based. Maxx Crosby, Myles Garrett, Khalil Mack, even Trey Hendrickson. That's like a sneaky guy that I just thought about the other day because we were on live and one of the guys, I forgot his name, but he told me, he's like, Juan, look out for Trey Hendrickson. The Bengals can't pay him, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase, and he wants a new contract where he wants to be traded. So Trey Hendrickson, 17.5 sacks back-to-back years, sign me up. You know what I'm saying? Even though he is 30, 31 years old, I don't care. Sign me up. 17.5 back-to-back years? Come on, man. So there's this excerpt here, quote, says, expect the Commanders to be aggressive this offseason in pursuing roster upgrades on the defense. Much like the Texans last year after C.J. Stroud dies in the rookie season, Washington believes it has something special in quarterback Jaden Daniels and wants to maximize his rookie contract window, get into the NFC Championship game in Daniels' first year. Only made Washington more likely to get aggressive for someone like Myles Garrett if and when Cleveland decides to move him. Washington needs a lot of work on defense and then don't be surprised to see if the team stretches for an impact player or two in this coming months. The Commanders were 19th in defensive EPA this season. So that is per Dan Grazio of ESPN. So notice how a lot of this is based on Washington improving the defense. And don't get me wrong, we have a lot of holes on the offense as well, whether you want to say wide receiver help, or if you rather say we want to upgrade tight end, even though we love Zach Ertz, we want to go younger there along to pair him up with Zach Ertz, or you want to say upgrade left tackle. Those are also issues too. But what was a lot apparent at times, the majority throughout the year, is that the defense needs help. We lack pass rush. We lack the ability to stop the run. Every running back, going from Bijan Robinson down to Rico Dowdle, was getting 100 yards close to on us, man. So that, in my opinion, is what's important, the most upgraded defense. I understand a lot of people want to upgrade left tackle. A lot of people have given up or don't believe in Brandon Coleman. I solely understand that, and I'm not mad at you for it, or I don't disagree with you if you have that approach. But I have, in my opinion, bigger needs and bigger fish to fry, and that's getting after the quarterback. Yes, having Jaden Daniels upright is the most important thing to do, but it wasn't the worst thing this past year. Like, let's not put it, make it bigger than what it was. Was it bad at times? Yes. Did Brandon Coleman get beat a lot of times this year? Yes, of course. He's a rookie. What do you expect? It happens, but it ain't no fun out there if Jaden Daniels is out there scoring, helping his offense win, and then he got to turn back around and go and do it again because his defense then gave up another one-play 60-yard touchdown like in the NFC Championship. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, we have holes offensively, and I expect us to upgrade those as well. But I like this approach right here. I like being defensive-minded. in this free agency, in this offseason pool, because that is what, can put us over the edge, if you ask me. Even if you was to take, and I know we're not going to do this because I expect us to upgrade mightily, and I want to. I'm not saying I'm fine with this offensive roster, but let's say we even took this same offensive roster next year and didn't do nothing to it, which isn't going to happen. But say we did nothing to it, and we added the defensive help that we're going to do to improve this offseason. This team probably would have went to the Super Bowl. With a sprinkle of better defense, this team probably would have went to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Even with the turnovers we had in the NFC Championship, maybe we can bottle up some of those drives. You know what I'm saying? Some of those drives, put them into a hold or hold them to a field goal, with better defensive acquisitions this offseason. So I say that to say, I love this approach. If defensive minded first is what they're going with, I love it. You know what I'm saying? Again, not to discredit any offensive holes that we have, because I still want to upgrade those as well. But defensive minded, for sure, especially pass rush, and in my opinion, 2 defensive tackles. I know we're probably going to end up keeping both John Allen and Deron Payne, but both defensive tackles, if you ask me. I need both starting over. Continuing on with the article, though. It's an exciting time for fans. Some are still getting used to the new regime and remain apprehensive about big splashes jeopardizing the long-term plans. The scars from Dan Snyder mismanagement runs deep, but things are different now. And that's the thing as well. I seen some comments on my post about, Juan, I don't want to make big splashes. I don't want to ruin the future. I don't want to spend all the cap space. We only have 7 draft picks now. We got to keep our draft picks. Look, guys, I understand you being scared or, apprehensive, as he said, about, the future, and don't want to mortgage it in all one season. And that's understandable. That's why I don't expect them to do everything we think they're going to do. They're going to spread it out across the next coming years. But that's also why you sign these players to team-friendly deals. You can't tell me a lot of these players, although they want to get paid, they wouldn't take less to come to Washington and win more so than to have personal money gain. A lot of these guys that want to win and want to come to Washington already have all the money in the world. They just want to go to a place to win. Like Myles Garrett said, he wants to go to a place to win. Like Maxx Crosby said, he wants to be a Raider for life, but he wants to win. And if he can't win in Las Vegas, so what? The only person that wants new money is going to be Trey Hendrickson. And even if we was to pay Trey Hendrickson money, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to work out a way in which it doesn't affect us long term. He's 30 years old, so you can sign him to a 3-year, 2-year deal. You know what I'm saying? And he'll be up. His contract will be up right in enough time for you to have to pay like a guy like Jaden Daniels. So again, I'm not too worried about us jeopardizing the future. I know we don't have a douche in front office and an owner like Dan Snyder that's going to mismanage this team. The approach that we took last season should kind of give you some confidence that they know what they're doing, and we have all the right people in place when it comes to contract details and, working out how we're going to acquire this player and spend his contract over the next 3, 4, 5 years. I think we're good. I really do, but I understand your scars and your worries for this team because of how it was in the past. But again, as he mentioned, it is different. The Commanders' window is open. They accomplished more than anyone dreamed of and become an attractive free agent destination along the way. Players actively seek to join Washington's ambitious project. That's not a bad platform for which to build entering a critical recruitment period for the organization. Peters and Quinn won't want their early success to be a flash in the pan. They want this to be the start of something special, something sustainable that results in perennial contention for this once downtrodden franchise. Taking calculated risk and striking when opportunities arise is the best way to achieve this challenge feat. So again, I understand what Rigo's Rag is saying. He doesn't want this to be a flash in the pan. And the reason why I don't think it's a flash in the pan is very simple. We have a quarterback. It's not Taylor Heineke on this team and we just caught fire. No, we have a quarterback and he's for real. He's one of those guys. He's top 5 already. You know what I'm saying? He's that dude. So that alone gives me confidence that this ain't no flash in the pan, man. The article continues on to say Washington is in good hands. They are right on the cusp of great things. If they can hit the jackpot throughout the offseason and strengthen problems areas, they won't be too far away next time around. Whether it's a bombshell trade for Gerd or more methodical acquisitions, fans can relax safe in their knowledge and they have to correct decision making in place or correct decision makers in place. Confidence is high and the momentum is building. What comes next is more important. Nothing can or should be dismissed at this juncture, but it would be a huge shock if the Commanders weren't major players this offseason. So that's an article on Rigo's Rags. Very good read. I just read it to you live and took bits and parts and added my own flavor into it after reacting to it live. But again, I say brace yourselves. Okay, brace yourselves for the impact that this offseason is going to be. It is going to be a lot of bombshells coming out of Washington. It's going to be a lot of small players that get added to this team that you may have not thought. And you may look at a little side eye at first, you know what I'm saying? But then you realize, hey, man, look, they made a huge impact. Like this past offseason, we signed Zach Ertz, who really no one expected to get a lot out of Zach Ertz, especially at the age that he's at. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these other guys that we signed, Noah Igbenogany, who would have thought he would have been a guy that I'm clamoring for to come back this season, right? A lot of these guys that we signed this offseason are going to come in and contribute, whether it's a big guy like Myles Garrett, whether it's a small guy. They're going to come in because we have the right people in place that knows how to evaluate talent and get the right people for the right jobs. Now, if I had to put out there who I want more, especially for the defensive pass rusher side, because that's a big need to me. We need to upgrade that. And I know there's some good pass rushers out there outside of Abdul Carter coming out of the draft. But if I had to rank positions that I need us to address, like free agent wise or trade wise, I would go edge rusher, I would go receiver, and I probably myself, I would say left tackle, just for the comfortability of, having a vet, because I understand Brandon Coleman had a rough year. And I'm not one to give up on players. I would love for Brandon Coleman to figure it out. And quite frankly, I feel like I'm one of the few that still want to believe in him. But for the simple fact that I think we can address everything else in the draft, and I had to put, 3 major position groups out there off the top of my head, it probably would be left tackle. But I'm sure we can address tight end maybe, or we can address, cornerback even. I personally wouldn't. I like Mikey. I like Noah. I like running it back with Sean next year. But needless to say, there's so many options and so many good pieces out there that Washington's going to be in on, whether it's Charvarius Ward, even another 49er guy, or Deebo Samuel, you know what I'm saying, who has made his names in rumors of court tied to Washington. Who's not tied to Washington nowadays? Everybody's tied to Washington. And again, like that's why I said a couple videos back, don't be surprised or don't be like, what? How is Washington attached to this guy's name? How is they going to end up landing him? Trust me, when you're that team that everyone wants to play for, and you're that team that everyone is seeing now, you have one of those quarterbacks now, you're going to find a way to be attached to every team and it make every player, and it's going to make sense. You're going to see it makes sense. Shit, I don't know. I don't care if it's freaking the most locked down player in a franchise. He got a max contract, and you're like, whoa, there's no way we get him. Trust and believe. There's a way we can get him. And that's the kind of team that we have right now, man. So that's all I got for you today. If there's an edge rusher that you want specifically, Myles Garrett, Maxx Crosby, Trey Hendrickson. Again, I love Myles Garrett, and that's the name that everybody wants, and I would want too. You know what I'm saying? And given the fact that Cleveland has to pretty much trade him, I don't care. They say he holds no weight. Look, at the end of the day, you got to do right what's best. You got to do right by your player, especially a guy that did everything he could for this organization. And he wants to be in Cleveland. It's not like he doesn't want to play for Cleveland. He wants to be in Cleveland, but he just wants to win. He asked for a sense of direction. The sense of direction didn't match up to his timeline. He wants to do what's best for him, and that is to go to a place and win. He already have all the money. He already have all the accolades in the world. Let him go win. Do what's best for him, man. Allow him to go be great, man. You know what I'm saying? So I think they're going to end up trading him. I really do. A lot of people say he holds no weight, you know what I'm saying? And all this about him not having control of his destination, he's going to have to hold out, etc. He's going to do whatever he has to do. Take the fines, whatever you have to do to get out of there in Cleveland. And Cleveland would be a fool to not trade him because they need everything that they can get to rebuild as quick as possible. And then when it comes to Trey Hendrickson, again, back-to-back 17 and a half sack seasons. When it comes to Khalil Mack, he's an aging veteran, but he is still hooping. I don't think LA is going to be foolish enough to allow him to walk. I think they're going to re-sign him, but if it comes to Khalil Mack, bro, I wouldn't be honest. I'll be honest. Sorry, I wouldn't be opposed to signing him. He is 33 years old. So if you go out and you get a Khalil Mack, I would expect us to maybe draft a guy, or you decide to bring in another edge rusher alongside him because he is aging. But he had 17 sacks in 2023. What are we talking about here? Yes, he only had 6 this past year. It was a major decrease, but he still has a high motor. He still is a force to be reckoned with. And if he plays off somebody else that can cause havoc as well, I think that opens up a lot, and you still can get enough out of Khalil Mack. And you don't have to sign him long term. Again, he's 33. You can sign him to a 1-year deal. You know what I'm saying? Maybe bring back Tate Thao, maybe add more. Like, there's so much that you can do this offseason given the cap space that we have. And I have a video coming out a little bit later, either today or throughout the week, where I'm going to talk about potential ways Washington can end up with $100 million cap space. I'm telling you, over $100 million cap space, more on what they already have. So stay on the lookout for that. But yeah, man, y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Juan Gotti. Let me just talk about this video in the comment section down below. Are you interested in anything that we talked about today? Washington plans to be ultra aggressive for guys. Let me know what you think about it down below in the comment section. As always, me and boy Juan Gotti. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 9,000 subscribers, so we greatly appreciate if you can reach that goal as soon as possible. Thank you so much. You have a blessed one. Stay safe. Be easy out there. Peace.